Alrighty guys, welcome back to another one. Today's video is going to be pretty short. This morning I posted a 10 gauge blank that we fired actually yesterday. But we're using Pyrodex because, where's it at? Pyrodex is easy to get. Pretty much anyone can get it. It's relatively cheap, a lot more available than real black powder, and it makes plenty of noise. Blanks are stupid simple to load. You don't even need a scale. You can use literally whatever primer you want. The only component you need besides the hull and primer is an overshot card. You can also use just paper towel, napkin, an X12X gas seal, anything to go over top the powder and, you know, to seal it for a roll or even a fold crimp, whatever you want to do. I don't recommend shooting blanks in a semi-auto or even a pump for that matter, but they will work in a pump. But you really want to stick to single shots and doubles because this isn't black powder, but it's similar to black powder. They are corrosive. They will rust your barrel up pretty bad pretty quickly, so cleanup is absolutely required with black powder or substitutes like Pyrodex. I have some old single shots in 12 and 16 gauge that are pretty pitted. The bores are pretty pitted because they're 110, 120 years old. And black powder was still pretty common back then, and the owners, I guess, didn't really bother to clean them up very well, so over time they became pretty pitted. They're still safe to shoot. They're not pitted so bad that we have thin barrel walls or anything. We still shoot them all the time. You guys have seen us shoot our old single shots, but yeah, that's one reason why you really should clean up after any black powder or black powder substitute load. They will corrode your barrels. But anyway, let's start by resizing the hull. This is actually a 2 3/4 inch 10 gauge hull. Need that right there. Alrighty. Alright. Knock it back off. If you guys just have one 10 gauge, you don't really need to bother resizing your hulls. But it is resized. I'm just using a Winchester primer. Let's get that in there. There we go. You can use any hull for a blank too, it doesn't matter. The pressure is so low with these that it doesn't matter if it's a tapered hull, straight wall, 2 3/4, 3 inch, 2.5, 3.5 inch, it doesn't matter. Typically, what I like to do is fill the case up about 3/4 of the way full if it's a 2 3/4 and 2 7/8 inch. If it's a 3.5 inch shell, there's really no point in going past half the case, you know, full of powder because, well, it's going to be ridiculously loud no matter what. Normally, I wouldn't measure my powder on the scale, but just for the sake of it, let's see how much a 3/4 case full of Pyrodex is in a 2 3/4 inch 10 gauge shell. In 2 7/8 inch, it's right around 175 grains, which is what I fired yesterday in that video you guys seen if you watched the video. It's 175 grains of black powder. Pyrodex, not black powder. It looks like this is going to hold about 150 grains. I have 148 here, and it is 3/4 of the way full. So, after the powder, I think you guys can see how much powder is in here. Just using one 10 gauge overshot card, right over the powder. Get a wad tamper or anything just to make that flat for a nice roll crimp. But this is what we have. You can either fold or roll crimp this. You don't even really need to fold or roll crimp these. You can just put a little bit of super glue in there or hot glue or even wax, really. Just anything to hold the overshot card in place. But I'm using the Ballistic Products 10 gauge roll crimp tool. And there you have it, guys. That is a 2 3/4 inch 10 gauge blank with 150 grains of Pyrodex. You can do this in literally whatever gauge you want as long as the gun is in safe working condition, it's not a semi-automatic, and 3, you have the proper overshot or anything to keep the powder where it needs to be. And that third one is not even actually 100%, you know, set in stone. Last week, we had that muzzleloading 12 gauge out, and Josh just poured about 400 grains of my black powder down the bore and fired it, no overshot, nothing, and it worked. It went off, sounded like full power, threw a heck of a fireball out the barrel, and I tried it with about 50 grains of my powder, and all I got was a little fireball. No noise. Here's a 24 gauge blank that I didn't even bother putting any sort of crimp in at all. Just an overshot and run it. Anyway, guys, that's all you need to do to load a blank. It is literally the simplest way to reload a shotgun shell. Of course, it has no shot in it, but it is dead simple. I think that's going to do it for me. You guys take it easy. We'll see you in the next one.